Hello and welcome to this crocheted video tutorial on how to make the shamrock washcloth. It can also be used as a potholder if you choose, or a coaster. It would be perfect to give as a gift for somebody who works in a bar to help clean their counters on that special day. The tools and materials that we will be using is cotton yarn. This one is the color black from Lily Sugar and Cream. This cotton yarn is from Premier Home. The color on it is called Pickle Splash, a little marble green. I love it. We have a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle, and a size 9, I should say, 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. The nice thing about this washcloth is it will not use a full skein of yarn, and so what I'm going to suggest is, instead of pulling from the center, you can start with the outside wraps of the skein. So let's go ahead and pull a little bit off so that we have some availability, and we're going to start with the magic circle. Start where you crisscross the yarns over, and then put your hook into the circle and pull up a loop with your working yarn, and finish like you're doing a chain stitch. Tighten that chain onto that loop and pull that tail through so that you have just a circle. Go ahead and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. All chains will count as our first stitch, and we will be using double crochets for our first row. To continue on, to make a double crochet, place your finger on the loop, yarn over the hook, go through the center of the loop, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. We're going to do this till we have a total of 12. Remember to count the chain 3 as 1. So here's number 2, 3, 4, continue around until you have 12. After you have your 12 stitches, we're going to take our tail, place your finger and your thumb over the last couple of stitches, not too tight, and then we're going to pull that tail. You'll notice that our circle will start to tighten up. Okay, so we'll have a small circle here. That's what we're looking for. Do not cut this. We're going to weave it in because this is just a wrap. It is not a final stitch. So we'll do that at the end. Okay, and if you loosened your loop on your hook, go ahead and tighten it up a little bit. And here we're going to go back to our chain 3. So here's 1, 2, number 3 is at the top. We're going to insert our hook. Try to pick up 2 parts of your chain, and let's do a slip stitch. Pull it through and pull it through. There we have a nice little circle. So let's chain 3. 1, 2, 3. This row will consist of double crochets again. Here we have our first, and in the same stitch that we did our slip stitch, we're going to do another double crochet. So we have a total of 2 here. In our next stitch, right here, 2 double crochet, and we're going to continue around with 2 double crochet per stitch for a total of 24 all the way around. Remember to count the chain 3. I'll meet you when you get there. Please pause your video. At the end of 24 stitches, as before, we're going to count up our chain till we get to the third one and do a slip stitch. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. In the same stitch, we're going to place another double crochet. This row, we're going to increase our row by 12. And to do that, we're going to be placing one extra in a stitch, and we're going to do one stitch that just has one stitch. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 1. The next stitch will have 2 double crochets, and the stitch after that will have 1. So continue that around. 2, 1, 2, 1. You should have 36 at the end of this row, and you will stop at this last stitch right here. And I'll meet you there. Please pause your video. To complete this row, we'll do the same thing with a slip stitch in the top of the chain 3. Let's chain 3 again. 1, 2, 3, and in our same stitch, another double crochet. This row is going to be a little bit different, but we will increase it by 12 stitches so that the final count on this row will be 48 double crochet. So our next stitch will be 1 double crochet. In our next stitch, 1 double crochet. So you're going to see what our pattern is here. 2 double crochet in one stitch, 1, 1. So it'll go 2, 1, 1. So our next stitch now is 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and 1 double crochet. Repeat this around. I'll meet you at the end of the row. Please pause your video. So, after making sure that you have 48 stitches, we're going to slip stitch into the top of chain 3. Okay, now I want to show you a little picture that I have here because this will be our final row for the green. So what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, then we're going to single crochet, half double crochet, 3 double crochets in that one stitch, half double crochet, 2 single crochets, 1 for each stitch, half double crochet, 3 double crochet, half double crochet, single crochet, and then slip stitch because our row will start again here with another slip stitch. So I will place this here. You're also going to see my little draft drawing that I've done so that you can refer to that if you get ahead of me, which is okay. I'm here for a tutorial, not for a race. So let's begin. We have our slip stitch right here, so we're going to slip stitch into our next stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then through all 3 on the hook. Then in our next stitch, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3. Our next stitch, half double crochet, whoops, there we go. Then we have 2 single crochets. This will be the bottom of our, or the center of our heart shape for the scallop. Now we're going to work our way up. Half double crochet, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3. Now before we move on, if you've been hearing rubbing noises, remember I'm using a GoPro and it picks up all kinds of noises. So if the noise is because of the stuff rubbing on the paper, so I try to keep that, so I'm sorry if it's a distraction, because during filming sometimes you can't hear all that. Okay, so our next one is the half double crochet, the single crochet, and then slip stitch. Okay, this has covered 12 stitches. So I'm going to leave this right here. You're going to start with a slip stitch. Let me bring it up closer. Okay, so you can read that. Go ahead and pause your video and I'll meet you when you've completed it. You will do this 3 more times. Ready? Pause your video. I hope you found that easy. So after we did our last slip stitch, you'll notice that right there is our chain 3. So that completes our row, and we have like this little scalloped edge here. You know, I just thought of something. You could probably use this when you're taking a bath too. That would be so cool. Alrighty, so my scissors had to make some noise. Here's their appearance. These are little Fiskars. Really nice scissors. Alright, let's pull our loop closed by bringing it through. And before we move on, let's pull out our needle. Now, I don't recommend this way because sometimes you can fray the edges. So my suggestion is put it between your fingers. Bring up the yarn between the needle, pinch it there, and put that folded edge through the eye. Sorry about my computer, it's been quiet all day. I didn't think I had to turn off the volume, but Facebook wants me to know that anyway. So let's go ahead and go around our circle again, because we're starting with our tail. We want to make sure that we hold on to these stitches for any kind of future use. Now there are ways that you can have a double circle, but I've found that sometimes when tightening those double circles, you can cross your tails up, and sometimes it actually breaks. So I find this way to be the best way. Now when your thread has gotten little, you want to go over that last thread and come back, so that way you don't pull out what you just stuck in. Okay, we'll do that again. Go over one and through, and then we can go ahead and cut it. I'm going to do that to the last one, weave it in, and then we will start with the black. Next, we want to pull out our black, but we also want to find our chain 3. Okay, we are not going to start at the chain 3. We're going to go up a couple of stitches so that we can tie them in so that they will look like they're supposed to. So let's pull out our black, or whatever color you're choosing, and place a slip knot on our hook. And while we are placing these stitches in, if you would like to crochet over your tail, I encourage this. So here's our chain 3, and here's our first slip stitch and our first single crochet. Let's go ahead and start in that first single crochet with a single crochet. Okay, so what I did was a standing single crochet. Our next stitch will be a half double crochet. So here we are at our first stitch of the 3 double crochet. We're going to place a half double crochet in that first one. In the second one, we will place 3 half double crochets. And to let you know, there will be no double crochets on the outside, but we will do a double crochet on the inside. We'll do a front post one. Okay, so there's our 3. Okay, half double crochet, another half double crochet. Okay, now we're down here to our 2 single crochets. We're going to do a slip stitch in both of them. So slip stitch and a slip stitch. Alright, so our next stitch is a half double crochet. Now you'll notice that I'm still going over my tail because I had a little tail, but because of the curvature here it still seems to fit. So there's 1 half double crochet, there's 2. Okay, our next stitch is that center of the 3. So we want to place 3 half double crochets in that stitch. Okay, so we want a half double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Okay, so here's where we're going to do single crochet in the next stitch. Okay, so I wanted to show you for this one right here, this is where we're going to have our drop, and this is where our slip stitches are on the green. So we're going to be doing some front post work to give it that shamrock look. Okay, so yarn over. Now here's our first and our second. So on our first one, you see that one little strand in between the 2 double crochets? I would like for you to pick that up as a front post double crochet and go ahead and complete your double crochet. Okay, our next stitch is a treble stitch. So place your finger on top of your loop, yarn over twice, and you want to come down the next row. So here's our stitch up here. We'll come straight down. There's that stitch, but we want to pick up that one strand in between the 2 stitches. Okay, and we're going to do a front post treble. So yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, yarn over for the last 2. And then our last one is a double crochet, so yarn over. Now if you pull everything forward, you see our 1 double crochet is on that 1 loop. So here's our center stitch for the bottom. So we're going to go over to the next 1 loop and do our front post double crochet that way. I guess you can call it more of a front loop double crochet. Alright, now here's what I did to make sure that I had my stitches correct. Here is where my 3 double crochets are. Here's the center one, so we know 3 is going to get there. Half double crochet, single crochet, because we didn't want to make an accident and pick up one of these other ones. So here we're going to place a single crochet right here. And you can see how it dropped down and gave that look that we were looking for. Our next stitch next 2 stitches, half double crochet. Now we're at the top of our center. We want 3 half double crochets. Okay, let's continue on. Half double crochet, half double crochet. Okay, we have the 2 single crochets. Do you remember what you're supposed to do there? That's right, 2 slip stitches. Oops, I almost did a single crochet, didn't I? All right, so here we go. We're going to start like we did right here. So we're going to do 2 half double crochets, 3 double crochets at that center of the 3, 2 half double crochets and a single crochet, our front post, double crochet, front post treble, front post double crochet, single, 2 half doubles, 3 half doubles, and then 2. So that's what we've done so far, but I'm going to stay with you until we finish this row to make sure that you get it right, but I wanted to remind you of what those stitches were. Let me go ahead and pull out some more yarn. You can see I have very little from my skein, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, now that I have my yarn pulled out, let's move on. So our next stitch is a half double crochet, and if you're lost as to where we're at, remember of your 3, the center one gets the 3, then you get 1 and 1, and these 2 single crochets from our previous row get 2 slip stitches. So we're going to do one more half double crochet. I'm going to have to turn my volume off. Hang on just a second. I like listening to music when I crochet. But apparently Facebook wants to give me notifications when I'm on camera. I think they're listening to me, to be honest with you. Okay, so we're going to do 3 half double crochets in the top of the 3 double crochets from the previous row. Alright, so 2 half double crochets over the next 2 stitches. Okay, so we're coming up to one of these drops here. That means the next one gets a single crochet. And now we're going to do our front post double crochet. So yarn over. Okay, here's our 2. So we're going to pick up this stitch right here. Alright, and here's our treble. We want to come straight down. So we're going to pick up this one right here. And then our double. Okay, we want to skip that one and go to the next one. Okay, and then as before, here's your top that gets 3, so 1, 2, single crochet. That way there's no way of making a mistake. Okay, and then half double crochet, half double crochet. Alright, so do you have the hang of it? Okay, I'm going to let you go, and I'll meet you when you get here to the end. But if you have a problem, you can always rewind the video some and pick up where you need to. So I hope the final part of this row was easy for you and that you didn't have any complications. At the end, you notice that we started with a single crochet and we have our little space here. That means we slip stitch. into that first single crochet, and since my tail was woven in, my end was a little small. So there we go. Let's go ahead and cut our yarn. And then I will weave that in. And here we have us a nice little washcloth. Here I have 2 of them. I hope this is something that you can use or a friend of yours can use. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for joining me in this crocheted video on how to make the shamrock washcloths. Thank you for stopping by. I hope to see you again sometime. Till next time. Bye-bye.